Thank you, Pat. Good afternoon, gentlemen. First, I'd like to tell you how honored and pleased I am to have been chosen to head the finest factory dealer team in the whole automobile industry. We have had a sensational 1965. Despite a crippling strike, we sold 802,000 Tempests and Pontiacs, a gain of 87,000 cars. We strengthened our hold on third place for the 5th consecutive year. This outstanding performance reaffirms our faith in the earned quota system. We intend to continue it. It's the only fair way to distribute automobiles. Pontiac ownership, and more importantly, owner loyalty, are at record levels. Our backlog of satisfied customers is our greatest asset. It represents the only true measure of growth in our industry. The former occupants of our coveted third place spot didn't work to build this foundation of customer satisfaction and goodwill. We know what happened to them. Now let's talk about the 1966 model year in general industry terms. You have probably noticed that the various economists and business reporters have changed their stories in recent weeks. 3 months ago, they all spoke of a fall slowdown in the country's rate of economic growth. Primarily because 1965 was so good, it was just a hard act to follow. But now there is universal agreement that 66 will be another good year. We must remember that the 1965 model run produced over 8,800,000 American cars despite 2 major labor disruptions at the crucial start of the model year. We must also remember that this sensational 1965 model year was not the result of a pent-up demand from a poor previous year. 1965 was a 4th consecutive good year. We regard this as an indication of an economic level, not an isolated peak. Of course, the underlying factors that brought this high economic level are still operative. The new family formations, population growth, rising incomes, and the mass exodus to the suburbs have combined to make more cars and multiple car ownership not only possible, but a necessity. The regrettable Vietnam crisis has stimulated economic activity in the defense sector. Unemployment is at an 8-year low, and perhaps, and most important of all, our government is dedicated to maintaining a high level of economic growth. The success of the income tax and excise tax cuts have given our national economists confidence in this tool, and more tax cuts are certain to follow. The consumer credit picture also appears to reflect a sound, expanding economy. Repayments of installment credit have continued in line with the increase in disposable income, and there is no indication that the rise of installment credit by automotive customers has been excessive. The demand for new cars has never been better. With a scrap rate this year estimated at close to 6 million cars, which will be replaced at the other end of the market by new cars, and with a current growth rate exceeding 2.4 million new units, the 1966 market for our products is excellent. With regard to availability, because of our extended 65 production schedule and our decision not to delay announcement, we will have a few less cars at announcement time than we did last year, about 32,000 against 36,000 last year. But with our faster acceleration and uninterrupted production, we will have built 60,000 more cars by this December 31st. Product-wise, we are looking forward to an outstanding year. We started with what have proven to be the finest cars in their respective market areas and improved them. We had no major problems last year, but this year Steve Malone, our new chief engineer and a real expert in this business, assures me that we have solved even the minor problems. The Pontiac car enjoyed a position of shortage throughout 1965. For 1966, we have improved on the best of 65. I think you'll agree it's the most beautiful car we've ever offered. To enable you to better serve your market, we have made some important changes within the Pontiac line. For example, a popular Ventura has been made a complete package. The name Catalina does not appear anywhere on this car. The Star Chief is the last of the old line Pontiac names. While this car enjoys an extremely fine price position in the market, its volume has been slipping. We have recast the image of this car. We've sharpened it up both inside and out. We've added a coupe to the series. Finally, we changed the name to the Star Chief Executive to complement its new character. The Executive has many pluses over the top end of the competitive medium price class, particularly the Olds, Buick, Caprice, and Mercury. We look at this new car as a logical upgrading for the Catalina customer, and we expect to sell a lot of Executives in place of Catalinas. The Bonneville and Grand Prix have both been dramatically improved. The Brougham lineup has been expanded to include a coupe and a convertible. These cars will fill out the top end of our line and help us keep the prestige identification that we need to sell all of our cars. This is the year of the all-new Tempests, and we expect to make our big gains in 1966 in this area. We have added a beautiful new four-door hardtop to the Custom and Le Mans series. The GTO that approached 80,000 sales last year has its own specific front and rear appearance in 1966. Some of the really big news in our Tempest is a new overhead cam 6 that you've read about in all of the automobile magazines. That old pro Bob Emmerich really turned them on. I don't think any new engine has ever come out with more advanced publicity. To date, Bob has gotten us 14 magazine covers, probably worth over $5 million in advertising, if you could buy it. In our opinion, this overhead cam 6 is the most significant new engineering development in the entire industry for the 1966 model year. R6 opens a whole new set of doors for you Pontiac dealers in a volume area. For example, 2.5 million were sold last year, and there are 13 million owners of six-cylinder cars under 5 years old. If only 1 out of every 100 of the late Model 6 owners buys a new Tempest 6, your six-cylinder volume will double. Last year, our 1965 6 was very competitive, better than most. Yet our regular fuel overhead cam 6 will beat last year's engine by 1.5 miles per gallon and 4 seconds, 0 to 90. The high compression 4-barrel version with a stick shift will beat most of the V8 options in the industry. This 4-barrel engine is combined with a firmer suspension and outside identification as a Sprint option. Since we are only able to show this car at a few locations today, let's switch to the GM Proving Ground at Milford for a look at the new Sprint 6. We think this car will turn into an economy-priced GTO. The typical six-cylinder buyer has only one thing in mind: economy, both of operation and initial purchase price. Our 6 not only gives him better economy and outstanding serviceability, but in the bargain, a car with 6 appeal. We are giving this man a chance to lift the hood and show off a fine piece of machinery with all of the mechanical appearance of a Jaguar or a Mercedes. I honestly feel that we can get 10% of this six-cylinder market over the next few years, and that's 200,000 more Pontiac customers. You know, we had quite a fight to keep this engine a Pontiac exclusive. since we have capacity for 250,000 of these engines, and we sold less than 70,000 sixes last year, we got a lot of pressure to sell engines to some of our sister divisions. But I think that you can sell all that we can build. Unfortunately, some of our machine tool deliveries were quite late, delaying the availability of these engines. All of our equipment is in now and running well, and we'll have all the sixes you can use very shortly. You know, this is one of the problems of this hot economy of ours. The machine tool industry just has more business than it can handle. Our approach must be to add these six-cylinder cars, though, to our present market. We don't want to lose any V8 business, but we do want our share of those 2.5 million sixes that are going to be sold this year. Before I leave the product, let's discuss quality. I want to assure you that you're going to see a phenomenal improvement in quality during 1966. We have started a fundamental, hard-hitting project. This program, which comes to us from the aerospace industry, is called Zero Defects. In essence, it's an appeal to the basic human dignity of the worker. We're going to make him part of the team. For example, an employee may now think he's doing a good job if he turns out 95% good parts. On the other hand, if when he cashed his paycheck, the bank only gave him his money 95% of the time, he'd be very unhappy. In effect, he has two sets of standards, one for work and another for his personal life. We are asking him to apply the standards of his personal life to his work, to deliver 100% of the time. This zero defect program is going into experimental pilot operation on home plant built cars this year. In my opinion, the whole industry's psychology of letting the dealer finish the car has been wrong. It gives the production people the attitude that the product is good enough because a dealer is going to do the things that are left undone. There is no compulsion for perfection. In our program, every item will have been checked and made operational before the car is shipped. If this program is successful in improving goodwill and reducing warranty, it will soon spread to all of our plants. We feel that this program will help to relieve your facilities of some of the new car preparation work and many of the early customer comebacks. You can then devote more of your service effort to customer labor. I'd like to show you a very interesting chart from a recent market survey of over 20,000 customers. This chart shows the loyalty to the dealer, not to Pontiac, but to the dealer, of the Pontiac owner who is a service customer compared to the owner who gets his service elsewhere. The customer who uses your facilities is twice as loyal to you as a customer who does not. In other words, your service customer is twice as apt to buy his next new car from you as a Pontiac owner you are not servicing. This is probably one of your greatest opportunities for growth, both in sales and loyalty. We have added 7 new models to our 1966 lineup. Between the Tempest at one end and the Bonneville and Grand Prix at the other, there's a Pontiac to suit everybody's taste or pocketbook. This full line of models gives Pontiac coverage of about 95% of today's market. This broad coverage is an important sales advantage, but it's meaningful only if it's backed by a solid sales and service effort. It's meaningful only to the extent that Pontiac products are sold aggressively in every segment of the market and service to the complete satisfaction of every customer. To do this, as you well know, you Pontiac dealers must be able to display and service this wide range of models. You must have adequate personnel, adequate in numbers and ability. If we are to continue to grow in this 10 million plus car market of the late 60s, we must have adequate facilities. If we lose this opportunity, we may never have another. We're not in a simple business. Continued success and growth do not come easily or automatically. Our competition is aggressive and highly competent. The public is becoming increasingly sophisticated and demanding. People know what they want. We have no inherent right to any part of the market. We have to earn the business we get by what we offer the public, by what we do, and the way we do it. Pat is predicting that you will sell 900,000 Pontiacs and Tempests. If we can keep our day's supply low enough, I think the corporation might give us enough cars to sell 1 million. What do you say, Pat? Let's go after our first 1 million.